everybody. Welcome to the Pins and Needles podcast. This is episode 49. My name is Zoe and you can find me on Ravelry and on Instagram as Pins and Needles UK. If you want to get in touch with me, I will leave the details down below, and there will be show notes and timestamps and links to things that I talk about down there as well. I also put an episode thread up in my Ravelry group. You can find that by just searching in the groups tab for Pins and Needles podcast. So if it's easier for you to comment there, by all means nip over and have a chat. Thank you very much for joining me today. It's been rather a long time since I've done a normal episode. I did a holiday vlog, I did a Fibre East vlog, I did a retreat vlog. It's all been vlogs and not much actually sitting down and talking to you. So I'm sorry for the absence, but it's been the summer holidays and busy. Quick couple of admin update things. For those that don't know, myself and my friend Jenny of Owl About Yarn, also her details are down below, we organise and co-host the Knit Tea retreats. We have retreats in October in Cardiff and in June in Stratford-on-Avon. And I wanted to let you know that the Cardiff retreat has now sold out. That is on the 19th and 20th of October. But we've also recently confirmed all of the marketplace vendors that will be coming to Insole Court in Cardiff on the Sunday afternoon, that's the 20th. And that marketplace is open to everybody and it's free to come in. So if you're interested, if you're in the area and you'd like to come along to our little marketplace, head over to Instagram and find us. We are at the Knit Tea Retreat. Keep an eye on that. We'll be announcing vendors. We've got some really fantastic people coming. It's going to be small but perfectly formed. So keep an eye out for that. Jenny and I also own and run Cartref Yarn, which is our very own 100% Welsh yarn. We know it's 100% Welsh because we drive to Brecon and we buy the fleeces directly from the depot, lovely Brian. And then we also have it spun in Wales and then we dye it ourselves, either at my house on Barry Island or at Jenny's house in Cardiff. And we are in a bit of a hiatus at the moment because we basically sold pretty much everything we had, but we are just about to fire up our dye pots. So we will have a stand at the Knit Tea Retreat Marketplace to be selling Cartref yarn, and after that we will be putting it back online as well. So I've had some messages from people asking when more will become available, and the answer is the next opportunity is the Retreat Marketplace, October the 20th, and afterwards online. If you're interested in finding out more about Cartref yarn or about the retreats, there's a link to sign up to the 2 different newsletters down below. So by all means, head on over and put your details in. That's all the boring ad. Well, it's not boring. Retreat's not boring. The retreat's amazing. And the yarn is also amazing. But that was the public service announcement section. Okay, let's just do it. Finished objects. Now, it's been such a long time since I last podcasted, I can't remember if I showed you my finished Tegna. And it's upstairs in my bedroom and my husband is having a nap. So unfortunately, I can't get it to show you, but I will insert some pictures, hopefully up here, if I can use the magic of editing. And there are plenty on my project page and also on Instagram. I knitted this out of Midwinter Yarns Lithuanian linen in the colourway Avocado. I used a couple of different sizes for things, so go and check my project notes if you want more details of that. I've not been on Instagram as much as usual over the last month, probably. Can you see Jim down there? Hey Jim. I've got the dog down there and the front window open, so I'm sorry if there's extra noise. Yeah, Instagram. I've not been around so much, and I've just recently come across the controversy surrounding Boylan Knitworks, which was somewhat disappointing. I'm still in the process of investigating that, and it does seem that Caitlin Hunter is hopefully learning, as we all are, about the diversity issues we're all dealing with at the moment. I don't know yet if I will knit any more of her patterns. I very much enjoyed knitting Tegna. It was a well-written pattern. I love the finished object. I think I just need to be a little bit more confident in her approach going forwards before I would want to spend any more of my money on her patterns. I do have several in my queue, but I haven't pulled the trigger on buying them yet, and I won't be for the moment. I'm going to see how that all plays out. Yeah, I believe in putting my money where my mouth is, so I'm going to see how that pans out. Next up, again, I might have already shown you these, I honestly can't remember, but I finished my Pebbles and Pathways socks. Now, this is a fantastic toe-up sock pattern written by my friend Mars Smith, who is Hey Brownberry on Instagram and everywhere. Also, if any of you don't know Hey Brownberry and are interested in supporting BIPOC designers, makers and podcasters, please go and investigate Mars. She is a woman of colour. She is 100% awesome, and her sock pattern is amazing. So there you go. I haven't done toe up very much at all. I'm mostly a top down knitter, but because it was Mars, I cracked on. And this heel, is this one that you came up with out of your own brain, Mars, or is this like a particular heel, like heel, flap and gusset? Somebody originally came up with that, but it's just the heel, flap and gusset that everyone uses. Is this a particular kind of heel? It doesn't have a name in the pattern for it, so I wondered if it was I don't know, if it had a name. If anyone knows, let me know. But it's really fun to do, and it fits really well, which is nice because normally short row heels don't fit me at all, but you can see how deep this one is here, so it's super comfy. The yarn is the Knitting Goddess. Can't remember the colourway. Could be Ghost, not sure, which I bought from the Edinburgh Yarn Festival. I might have made these a smidgen too long. The pattern is so intuitive, and I was having such a lovely time making them that I slightly overshot the leg, which means that at the top they're perhaps a little bit snug, but it doesn't matter. I love them anyway. So there we go, socks. Let me look back at my list. Oh, I have another finished object, which I'm going to have to put a picture in up here. And I knit a pair of Hermione's Everyday Socks, which is a pattern by Erica Luda. I think it's a free pattern on Ravelry. Again, the links are down below. And I knit that in a blue BFL nylon sock yarn that I've had in darkest stash for really quite a long time. And I can't remember, I think it might have been Jelly Beans yarns, which is Jenny of Owl About Yarn's previous yarn dyeing venture that she started with another friend of ours. So I think it might have been that. Anyway, I knitted this lovely pair of socks. They went very quickly because Jenny has nice normal lady size feet, a UK size 6, and I knitted those for her birthday this summer. I was rather late in finishing them and passing them on, but she said she liked them, so that's good. Her husband very generously machine washed all of her hand knit socks and shrunk the lot. So I think she now that I've given her this pair, she now has 2 pairs of hand knit socks. So she needs to start working on her sock wardrobe again. So yeah, I think I will keep giving her birthday socks for a while to get that basket back up to an acceptable level. The other finish that I have is a spinning finish, and the eagle-eyed amongst you might have noticed a new addition to my backdrop. I bought an Ashford Traditional, that's the one, from a friend of mine at Fibre East. I will talk about that more next week. I've got quite a lot to get through today. And I was feeling overwhelmed when I was doing the show notes and gathering all my stuff together. I was thinking, oh my God, there's just tons. There's just a backlog of stuff. So I'll talk more about my spinning and my wheel acquisition next time. But I did want to show you some yarn. When the Tour de Fleece started, I was a bit jealous and I missed spinning. I used to spin a few years ago and I had a Traveller wheel, but I wasn't having the time to spend on it. So I sold it to Jenny. And recently I've started missing it. So Jenny very kindly lent me her IST Craft spindle and refused to let me pay for a braid of her fibre. I've still got the label. I don't think I've got Jenny's label. But it was a 100 gram braid of Owl About Yarn Masham in the colourway 04. And I spun this as a fractal spin. So I got the braid and I ripped it in half and I spun one strip top to bottom. And then the other half I split again, so I had a quarter, and I spun each of those quarters end to end, and then I two-plied it together, but I two-plied it on the wheel. So this is what I have ended up with. So this is spindle spun but wheel plied, 100% British Masham, and I think, sorry, my smartwatch is doing strange things at the moment, that overall it's not too shabby. It all kind of came back to me. Is that focusing? Yes, I think it is. I did it in 2 halves because the spindle was fairly lightweight and it was just starting to struggle with the weight. And I ended up with roughly Aran weight. It's about 10 wraps per inch and 153 metres. And I absolutely love it. It's a really nice woolly wool. It poofed up beautifully, and I think it's probably going to become mittens. I mean, you could get several pairs of mittens out of this, so maybe mittens and a hat. But the yarn, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I just really like it. I'm really pleased with it, and I think mittens would be nice. They will keep me nice and warm when my dog walks over the winter. Yeah, spinning. That's my other finished object. It's a warm day today. What are we? 31st of August, and it's hot. It's not terribly sunny, but it is quite warm. On to works in progress. I have one work in progress which I feel rather ashamed of. Kathy, I'm sorry, I'm a terrible test knitter. Let me find it. Oh, sorry, I knocked the microphone off the laptop. This is my pattern clipboard. And I should have, yes I do, a pattern on my clipboard. That I can show you. Okay, so this is a previously published pattern that Kathy Popperdin, the designer, has been reworking. So she started up a new test knit. All her patterns are available on Ravelry. I've linked down below to the one that I've been test knitting. It is now live for purchase. And I was helping retest knit the Sweetheart Booties. So this pattern comes in a good range of sizes, 5 sizes from newborn to 18 months, and you can knit it flat or in the round, with or without I-cord and ribbon ties. Yeah, so I have finished one, which makes me a terrible person. I knit the extra small size in the round, and that's it. This is my Sweetheart Booty. Is that not just the most gorgeous, cutest little thing? Really tiny. That's my thumb. Very tiny. I don't know if my tension was off. But it has a ribbed bit around the ankle to keep them snugly on the foot, and then you turn down the cuff. I didn't do the eyelet ribbon option because I'm supposed to be knitting these for my nephew who is due in a month. And then you have the heart motif. There we go. And that heart motif is a combination of intarsia and then obviously stranded knitting when you get to the separation of the heart at the top. I have to say, as a test knitter, there were pretty much no issues with the pattern at all. Really well written, very clever construction. Without giving too much away, you do the instep over short rows. This, I have to say, this is the second time ever that I've done intarsia, and you can see it's a little bit bunchy. I haven't done your booties justice, Kathy, I'm afraid, but they are super fun to do. Some really interesting techniques in there if you fancy a bit of a challenge. I knit these out of West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply. I used a 2.25mm needle. Oh, and the colourway is Cayenne Pepper. Can't remember the actual number, but yeah, Cayenne Pepper. So, excuse me. I need to crack on with the other one. I might actually do the second one flat. So one in the round, one flat, just compare and contrast. So yeah, and if you're interested in baby booties, do go and check out Shake Your Booties on Ravelry. She has everything from New York taxi cab booties to baseball booties to daffodils, just, oh, some little ones that look like little Mary Jane shoes with white ankle socks, you know, absolutely stunning, really clever lady. So that's my other work in progress. I need to blow the dust off that and get on with it. Next up is another pattern that I'll have to show you the picture of from my clipboard without giving away the pattern. Yeah, here we go. I've been knitting like a demon on the Stasis pullover. Now this is a Brooklyn tweed pattern. The designer is Layla Raab, and this is I've had this pattern in my queue a really long time, and the yarn has also been in my queue a really long time. That's a bit of a better picture. And I noticed when I checked the pattern page on Ravelry that they've changed the picture. It used to be this style of jumper, and they've changed it now, so the yoke is in another colour, so it makes it a 3-colour pattern. I'm only doing it in 2 though. And for some reason this has really caught my interest. Yeah, I cast it on in September of last year, and I've been going like the clappers on it because I want it ready for autumn. I'm keeping it in my lovely project bag, which was a gift from Charlie, who is the yarn ambassador, and it's got sheeps on. I think this one is a Manx Lockton, I think, and I'm not sure about the other breeds, but it's super fun, and it's got this really nice tweedy thing at the bottom. I am knitting this out of Debbie Bliss Rialto 4-ply, which is a 100% merino wool, extra fine superwash. 50 grams gives you 180 metres. There's the tag. Colourways are down below if you're interested. And I've been doing really well. You start by knitting the sleeves for this pattern. It's a bottom-up job. And I knit one sleeve and then put it in the bag and just forgot about it for some reason. But I picked it up again. If any of you watched my fateful summer holiday vlog, basically we booked to go away camping for 8 days, and we managed 3 days in the middle because of just absolutely awful storms, really high winds and rain. So we ended up coming home early and still having the time off work, but just spending it at home altogether. And so I had some really nice knitting time. So I dug my sleeve back out and knit the second one, cast on the body, and just kept going basically. So I have got to the colourwork yoke at the top. Can you see? I'm peeking at you through the... I can't see what I'm doing. There we go. So there's the bottom, bands of colour work, and then there's the yoke at the top. So I've got stitches on hold for the underarms, and I'm probably about halfway through the colour work at the top. You can see at the bottom there's sort of one round of lozenges and there's 3 for the top. And once you've completed the colour work, there's some short rows and then yoke decreases in the neckband. So I'm really not far off done. Oh no! No! Nobody panic. Got those ones. Sorry, stitches fell off. Oh no! You don't want to drop stitches in colour work, and because it's superwash wool. Sorry, talk amongst yourselves. Ooh, that was close. Right, I'll check those before I carry on knitting, that they're all in the right place. Yes, so I'm really enjoying the knit. Although I have to say, the yarn is some of the oldest yarn from my stash again. I'm sort of decided to work bottom up through my stash in layers. And it's beautifully soft because it's superwash merino, and it is very uniformly dyed because it's a commercial yarn. And it turns out that super soft and uniformly dyed is not speaking to me in the same way that it did when I first bought the yarn. So I'm enjoying knitting it. I will love the finished object, but this is definitely more of a product knit now, I think. I'm liking the colour work, but it's just, I don't know, I'm lucky enough to be used to buying my yarn from friends at shows or from Ange at my local yarn shop, and I haven't got any emotional connection to this yarn, which makes me sound like a bit of a drip, but there we go. It's a lovely pattern, really well written. And a quick tip, if you are knitting sort of all in one in the round jumpers, whether it's top down or bottom up, and the sleeves get flappy and get in your way, once you're past the join for the body, you can tuck the sleeves in the hole. You know, when you have stitches on hold for the armpit, poke the sleeves through there so they're inside the body of the work, and then there's less octopus wrangling, if that makes sense. So yeah, stasis jumper. I'm knitting this, I'm knitting a size 5. I think it's going to come out right. I'm not really sure, to be honest. I'm just knitting it. I did do a gauge swatch, but like I said, that was the back end of last year, so maybe my tension has changed. Knitting a size 5, going up a needle size for the colour work. And because it's 100% wool, if it has come out a little bit snugger than I would like, I can just block the bejesus out of it and get a few more inches. In terms of the body length, from the hem to the underarm is supposed to be 16 inches for my size. And normally I lengthen it a bit, but I decided not to. There is a bit of a trend for cropped sweaters, and whilst I don't want a cropped sweater, I thought maybe not adding my customary 2 inches might be nice. We'll just see. If it turns out I don't like it, I can always snip a stitch before the waist shaping, unravel it, knit a bit more and graft it all back together, although that would be quite a job, grafting a whole body's worth of stitches. But this is mostly what I'm working on now, although I think I'm going to have to put it away for a couple of days because I have a slightly more pressing work in progress, which I will show you now. Tuck that away. It's also looking a bit scrunched because it really is testing the capacity of my project bag. My last work in progress, which I'm keeping in my Knit Tea Retreat 2019 bag. This is the goodie bag that we gave away at the summer retreat, and I totally half-inched one as a big project bag. And my brother is expecting, my brother and his wife are expecting their very first child towards the end of September, and I'm going to cook them some dinners for their freezer, and I'm also knitting them a baby blanket. I've met my sister-in-law a handful of times. She's really, really lovely. She's Russian, and has literally yesterday moved to the UK permanently, which is fantastic news. We're really pleased that they've made it over in time in time for her to have the baby here. But it does mean I haven't been able to speak to her about what she wants to do for the nursery, if she wants particular colours or if she even likes handmade things. So what I've done is I thought, well, I'll knit one blanket and I'll just tell my brother if she doesn't like it, it's absolutely fine. She can give it away. I won't be in the slightest bit offended. Just let me know and I won't give her more things that she doesn't want, because there's nothing worse than somebody giving you something that's, you know, not your thing, but they've made it and put a lot of time into it, and I don't want to put that on her. So I've made a thing and I really don't mind if she likes it or not. The pattern is Bounce by Tin Can Knits. It's a DK weight pattern. I think it's paid for, but it's on Ravelry. And I'm knitting it in Sirdar Colour Wheel DK yarn. This is an 80/20 acrylic wool blend, and it's multicoloured yarn. And I don't know if I've got the label for the next one. Oh yes, I have. Stylecraft Special Double Knit, which is just a cream acrylic yarn, and I bought this from Angela of Yarn and Yarns. What size needles? 4mm needles, so pretty standard for DK. And I'm not far off finishing. I think I've got probably a couple more, probably 3 or 4 more pattern repeats to do, and then it's done. And this is it. Up we go. So it starts with brown, goes through pinks, oranges, yellows, into greens, and I've got the blue colour to go. Now, if I hold it a little bit closer without knocking my microphone off again, you can see it's a fairly simple lace pattern. They're having a boy, so I don't think this is too lacy for a boy. And the way the increases and decreases work, you get that sort of scalloped effect, which I think is really good fun. I've been being good and weaving in my ends as I go, because otherwise it really would be quite a job at the end. I like weaving in ends, I like making it all tidy, but nobody wants to weave in that many ends. So I cast this on the end of June, so I don't think that's too bad going, given that I've been the busiest I've ever been in my life recently. And I don't know when I'll get to see them. As I said, they only arrived back in the UK yesterday. But as soon as they're settled and ready for visitors, I'll head up and pass this over so that it's all ready for the little one when they arrive. I think when it comes to blocking this, I will chuck it in the washing machine, pin it out, and then kill it with steam from an iron so that it sets the lace pattern, because I don't want them to have to faff around blocking a baby blanket, because goodness me, life's too short. So yeah, that's my work in progress. I think I'll put my jumper away. And this has probably only got another couple of evenings work in it, because the repeats go quite quickly. But it is, although it's a simple lace pattern, it is also lace on the reverse. So it's sort of just about TV knitting. You have to keep a bit of an eye on yourself. But as you can see, I've got stitch markers in for all of the repeats, so I catch myself every 12 stitches and make sure I've done it correctly. So yeah, Bounce by Tin Can Knits. Really looking forward to finishing that. And if I have to give that to them before my next podcast, I'll try and remember to take a little video of it, if I can remember. I think that's it for WIPs. I'm going to have a quick drink. Next up is acquisitions. And my goodness, do I have some acquisitions. I can't quite believe it. I've got quite a lot to show you, but I haven't put it all into this week because, again, just too much. So what I've got is the acquisitions from the Knit Tea Retreat back at the start of June, if you can believe it, and a couple of things that I bought at Yarningham, which I don't think I ended up showing you. So forgive me if I showed you the yarning and things before, but I've lost track, so I'm just sort of starting again. Okay, I need to move my laptop so I don't knock the microphone. I've linked everything down below, things that have come from people that have Etsy shops or websites. So if you like anything you see, do check down below. I keep it all my stuff for my podcast, I keep in my pod basket, which I love. Okay, what have we got? Okay, first up, retreat things. This was a lovely gift from Julie. And it's a really sweet little embroidery kit from Knit It, Knit It, Hook It, Craft It. And what you get is a presumably machine embroidered linen drawstring bag, and mine's got a butterfly on it. And then a little packet of embroidery thread, and that square of green tape is holding an embroidery needle. And then you can fill in the gaps on your butterfly. It doesn't have instructions, so it doesn't tell you what to do in each bit of the butterfly, so you can make it up as you go along. But I'm thinking a combination of satin stitch or split stitch or just something fun. And I find these incredibly useful. I've got one that I keep my watch charger in. I have one in my work bag with sort of bits and pieces of lip balm in. So I'm be really pleased to have this ready to go. And it comes in this rather lovely purple bag as well. So thank you very much, Julie. That's lovely. I couldn't believe that people gave us things in the retreat. I said to them, you paid us to come on this retreat. That's how this works. You don't need to give us things as well. But everyone was so kind and so generous. Oh, next up, I haven't been using this, so I could keep it nice to show you. Look. This is the most perfect owl project bag, and this is by Jilly of Jilly Makes. And there's her label on it, and again I've linked her shop down below. And it is a really, really generously sized box bottom project bag, and the inside is in this fun acorn print and a bit of lace at the top. Look at that. Absolutely lovely. Really, really pleased with that. So I think I'm going to treat myself to a new cast on. Once the baby blanket's done and my stasis jumper is done, I'm going to cast on something new, and it's going to go in there because I'm allowed to use it now. So that was fabulous. Thank you very much. And then another lady on the retreat called Annie gave me this. It is just the most lovely embroidered, I think it's like a linen or like a cotton canvas zippy pouch. And I thought that the Z on the front was machine embroidered, but I think she hand stitched it. Absolutely stunning. Look at that. And she made one for Jenny as well with a J on the front. And I've used this lots already. And it has the most lovely Liberty fabric lining in it. And on the Sunday, on the last day, Annie gave me this and I said, thank you very much, and how much I loved it. And she was wearing, she's terribly elegant, and she had a beautiful shirt dress, you know, nice collar and buttons with a placket. And that was in Liberty fabric as well. So yes, how kind of her to use such beautiful fabric for me. And this comes with me to shows. This is the perfect size for my power bank and my mobile phone charger and the little clip-on microphone I use for vlogging with as well. So this is my sort of tech stuff bag. So I've used this a couple of times and it's absolutely perfect for that. So thank you. That's been really useful already. Oh, and then there's lovely Jane. Hi, Jane. Jane is based in London, and she really kindly treated Jenny and I to some goodies from Fortnum and Mason. Now, I'm sure you've heard of Fortnum and Mason. It's a very, very fancy shop in London. It's sort of, I want to say department store, but that makes it sound a bit normal, and it's not. It's super expensive. It's in Knightsbridge and really fancy. And she bought us both a box of Fortnum's English breakfast tea bags, which are in my kitchen. I don't use them very often. I just treat myself to one every now and then. And also a tin of salted caramel biscuits. And the packaging on the box of tea is in the same vein. So it's this sort of lovely aquamarine and blue with this big gold flash up the front. The biscuits lasted about 3 days. My kids found them. So I had 2 quick, so that I definitely had some and then the rest vanished. And I've kept the tin because I can't throw away good storage, and I'm sure it will come in handy for something. Thank you very much, Jane. That was smashing as well. And then last but by no means least, we had a marketplace. I think we had 8 stands at the Stratford one. And lovely Kelly of Lay Family Yarns attended the retreat and also sold at the retreat. And I decided that my one treat purchase was going to be some minis from Kelly's stand for my blanket. I'm doing the Bakery, Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears blanket, and I can't remember the name of it, but the project's in my Ravelry notebook. It's where you knit 9 mitered squares together, and then you do a border, and you end up with a bigger square, and then eventually you sew all the squares together. So it's similar to a Cozy Memories, but rather than doing one big enormous blanket, you knit individual squares. Anyway, so I wandered over to her stand, and she was incredible. She's such a generous lady. She wouldn't let me pay for the minis. So thank you very much, Kelly. So I'm officially giving you a shout out in return for being so kind. So this is the Little Cabin Minis, which is 75-25 merino nylon, and it's 5 mini skeins of 20 grams each. Again, you can find Lay Family Yarn online. I've listed them down below. And she's also recently opened her own studio. She's been dying from home for quite a while, and she is now at the Moores Craft Centre in Ironbridge. I think she opened a couple of weeks ago, and I've been really jealous because it looks like she's doing fantastically well, and lots of people have been to visit. So well done, Kelly. The shop looks amazing, and I really hope I can get there. Anyway, Little Cabin Minis. And she is just so clever at coming up with the softest, prettiest colours, which I must admit I can't really wear close to my face, but absolutely lovely. That's the nice thing about my blanket. I can put any colours I like in there, and I like these very much. And she also very kindly gave me this little box of tiny minis. Now I haven't weighed these, but I'm assuming that they are 5 grams probably. They don't have the colourways on them, but again, really, really cute. This would make a lovely gift. And that's her business card. Lay Family Yarn. She runs it with her daughter Megan and her husband Nick, who are also very lovely people. So thank you very much, Kelly. Maybe I'll get to use these soon. Again, if I get some whips out of the way, I can get back to my cozy, my blanket. I still haven't finished the Advent mini squares that Becky sent me last year. We did an Advent swap in our Ravelry group. And Becky, who is the crafty singer, hey Becky, she was my sender. And I haven't finished knitting those up yet, so I need to get a crack on. Oh, and then last but not least is my swag from Yarningham. For anyone that doesn't know, Yarningham is the yarn show run by Stitches and Hose, which is up in Birmingham. That was July time. Jenny and I went up and had a stand, and I treated myself to some goodies. Okay, first of all is I treated myself and Jenny to one of the Yarningham pins. Now these 2 alpacas are called Boris and Donald. I'm not sure which is which, but I'm assuming it's Boris Johnson and Donald Trump. Not that they're supporters in any way, but they just picked the names, I think. So I picked up a pin badge for them to show them some support, and I bought one for Jenny. Next up, Jenny treated me to a pin, and I'm sure you've heard of Anne-Catine Bayag, lovely Marna. She designed the Sinister Captigan pattern, and she has some Team Cat and Team Dog pins, and lovely Michelle of the Loveliest Yarn Company was selling these. So Jenny bought each of us Team Dog, because we have dogs. We've got Team Dog pins. We were heavily outweighed by Team Cat that day, but there we go. And I also treated myself to some fibre. Almas, who is Witchcrafty Lady, was sharing a stand with a nice gentleman whose name I don't know, who runs Wooltops, and they were selling some of their beautiful fibre. So I was in the process of spinning up that Masham from Jenny, and I was nearly done, and I wanted to treat myself to a bit of fibre. And my rule at festivals is I can spend as much money as I make selling my patterns. So I think I sold enough that I could buy 2 pins, one for me and one for Jenny, and then 2 bumps of fibre. So let me just double check the fibre content of these, because I wrote it down. Okay, this one is Poledale and silk, 85% Poledale, 15% silk, and this is undyed. And this is Poledale Falkland, 100%. So 100 grams, I think one was £3.50 and one was maybe £5.50. Really good value, and just the most beautiful, beautiful colours. What I thought I might do, I don't want to just spin and end up with loads of yarn of indeterminate size or quantity. I want to think about what I'm spinning for. I think I'm going to try and spin these up into a chain ply fingering weight yarn, two separate skeins, and then knit myself a 2-colour shawl. I've got something on my wheel at the moment, which I will show you next time, but these will probably be the next thing to go on. I'll probably spin the purple up next, because I'm spinning something natural coloured at the moment. So thank you, Almas. Those are going to be gorgeous. She also sells hand-dyed tops and hand-dyed yarn and other fabulous things. So if you see her at a show or you want to have a look at her online shop, the details are down below. Do go and support her. Again, another woman of colour in the fibre industry who is very deserving of our time and support and our money. So please go and give her shop a look. You want to go out, Jim? Jim now wants to go out of the front room, but I can't stand up. Not right now, lovely boy. You're going to have to wait, because I've got laptops and tripods and lights and, yeah, 2 minutes and I'll take you out. Yeah. That's everything I've got to show you for today. There isn't a huge amount of general chat for me to generally chat about. The previous vlog I put up was about my summer holiday, so if you're interested in seeing the family, you can go and have a look at that. In terms of what else we've been up to, it has mostly been work. For anyone that doesn't know, my husband Dave and I own and run a gym in Cardiff. And summer is fairly quiet in terms of membership. You know, everyone's away on holiday. Kids are out of school, so a lot of our members that are parents struggle to make it into train. But we're also personal trainers, and our clients don't drop off over summer. They're really dedicated and they keep coming in for their sessions. So I've picked up quite a lot of new clients. So I've been busy writing programs. And in an attempt to try and get some family time, we've been taking the kids in with us. They come in and do some cleaning and help man the reception desk in return for some money. And then we can train together. So it's been a lot of work and a lot of kid juggling. The other day I was brave and sorted out all the school uniform, worked out what we needed, and then we went shopping and bought all of that. And I think that's about it. I haven't done anything terribly exciting to share with you. And I'm sorry if this hasn't been the most interesting episode ever, but I just needed to get it done. And I said on Instagram that I was going to do it. So I've done it. I'm very much hoping to be able to get back to an every other week schedule going forward from September. I'll talk more about it on the next podcast, but I've been thinking about systematizing things, and hopefully that will make me more efficient and I will have more time. So thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked having a nose through all of my bits and pieces. Thank you very much again to everybody that gave me gifts over the last couple of months. I have got some more to show you next time, so if what you gave me hasn't appeared yet, don't panic. If you enjoyed the podcast, please give me a thumbs up and hit subscribe. Check all the details down below, and hopefully I can get Jenny on the next episode. So keep your eyes peeled for another episode in a couple of weeks, and I will see you soon. Bye.